and welcome to the Chamber of the Wraith. My name is Brian, and tonight we are going to tackle Raiden the Thunder God. Been a little while that we've tackled a god, especially since one of the first episodes we did was his brother Fujin, but I mean, better late than never to talk about one of my favorite Mortal Kombat characters. And we're going to be talking about competitive variations, so I'm just going to line up the next character right away here. Kung Lao is indeed going to be next, and we're going to go to my favorite stage, the Wuxi Dragon Grotto. Really cool looking place, and the second round music is my favorite music in this entire game, and one of my favorite tracks in all of Mortal Kombat, bar none. So, without further ado, we have to unfortunately go Dark Raiden, but that's because we have to talk about competitive variations. So, we have to go back to competitive looks. We're going to start off with Thunder Wave! And have a jolly good time doing it. I got frame data and thing, and I gotta do thing and thing. That should do the trick. Okay, so let's see. Trying to find all the ones that. Let's see, High Strike, doesn't combo, Thunder Knee, Spinning Heel, Sweeping Stall. And then only his forward throw is a crushing blow, so we can talk about that. Okay, first up, Side Strike. 7 frame down 1. Really nice frames. On block -3. One of the safest down 3s in the game. Really nice. Actually a fairly good button. Hammer Fists is an overhead, which is fairly slow, but if you hit the opponent twice in a row with these, by the way, you gotta be careful because the actual thing is -18. But if you land these twice consecutively, you can move around, wait, and then go for it. You get a combo. Which is one of Raiden's strongest combo starters, actually, because it does so much damage. And it kind of gets stupid how much damage Raiden can actually pull off if you land this thing. But you have to commit to doing Hammer Fist twice in a row, which is not an easy feat to land, especially considering how unsafe this attack actually is. You mess up your plans, and you're gonna get hurt. Then we have Heavy Storm, which has a counterpart in Thunder Knee, so we'll talk about both of them here and now. Heavy Storm is slightly slower at 21 frames and is a high, whereas the Knee has less hit advantage, and both of them have different block data. If you block Heavy Storm, Raiden is +2, but block Heavy Knee and he's -3. So they're very similar, albeit fairly different normals. And the key that I like to use them for is I like to use them to extend combos. Especially if in Variation 1, which has this attack. And we'll talk about that attack because it's one of Raiden's best attacks. Then we have Rising Lightning, a 9 frame down 2 with really good frames, which really hurts. Then we have Low Boot, which is an 8 frame down 3 with okay range, nothing to write home about. And before I forget, Rising Lightning is -17 on Flawless Block and -7 on normal block. So this is one of the safest uppercuts as well. Raiden's a fairly safe boy. Then we have High Strike, which is a 10 frame high that launches the opponent and can allow for combos. Wish that would connect more easily, but regardless, you can see where the fun comes from that, because you can get this. Let's say you land this raw, and they get half decent damage. That we already talked about Thunder Knee, so we can move on to Spinning Heel, which is a fairly long-ranged sweep. It's 15 frames and knocks down. It's -10 on Flawless Block, but on normal block it's -5 with respectable pushback. It's one of the better sweeps in the game because Raiden doesn't really move from where he is. He stays in place, giving him a bit of a range advantage. Then we have Sweeping Storm, which is a 14 frame and is -7 on Flawless Block, which means it's -7 overall and has really good range. Now, the Towards Throw has a Crushing Blow, and it's the general Crushing Blow requirement. Fail a throw tech, get thrown again, eat 31% damage. Hurts like hell. And fun fact, according to some data mining, there's a brutality attached to this Crushing Blow, which makes it, outside of one interactable, as far as I know, the first Crushing Blow brutality in the game. Now, let's very quickly talk about these attacks because we have not touched on the rest of them. First, I'm going to do something different with Kung Lao because we have to do something different for wake-ups with Kung Lao due to how his sweep works. Electric Current is an 11 frame wake-up attack with decent range, and if blocked is -4, is safe as heck. Then we have Shocker, which, as you can expect, is a wake-up launcher. But on wake-up, but on block is -13. And on Flawless Block, Electric Current becomes -9, still unpunishable for some characters, and -18 on Flawless Block for Shocker. Next we have the short hop attacks. We have Heavy Thunder, which is 12 frames and has really nice range. Look at that range. And on block, it's -19 or -14 depending on the block. Then we have Lightning Hammer, which has shorter range but is quicker by 1 frame. Same basic idea, clobber the opponent, be safer, -17. Stop it, thank you. -12, still punishable, still really funny. Then we have God Strike, which is air to air, Light Shock, which is air to ground, and Lightning Kick. These are both, these are relatively normal, except because of Electric Fly's properties, you can get fairly easy combos. Let's try one. Let's try one off of his 7 frame standing 1. 1 bar, 25%, and you're in the corner. Fairly easy stuff, as an example. Now let's talk strings, because Raiden has a surprising amount of them. I'm not even sure if I got them all. There we go. Yeah, I think I got them all. So first up is Downpour. It's a 7 frame punish that sends the opponent back, and of course can be special canceled and allow for combo extensions. If this counters or punishes though, which is fairly easy to do because it's a 7 frame attack, Crushing Blow for fairly decent damage. Then there's Power Discharge, which, like Shao Kahn, got a buff. The second hit is a true throw. It's not nearly as damaging as Shao Kahn's, but again, on block, throw him down, make him pay. Also, Downpour is -4 on block, and the string before Power Discharge is actually -8. Then we have Distant Thunder, which ends overhead. This gives Raiden a mix, a flawless blockable mix, but a mix all the same because, well, of a sort, because the second hit is actually a high, which means Kung Lao can actually duck this. See? He can duck under that and try and punish. But of course, an overhead will catch him. But it's not exactly, it's kind of fuzzyable, so they can try and stand up and block this. And if they do block it, it's -14, so punishable. Whereas Power Discharge is -8, and if the opponent manages to flawless block and forgets to do something, you can continue, finish the string, and get some good damage out of the deal. Then we have Sudden Energy, which has some funky hitbox issues because of the angle, but it's a fairly good anti-air slash long-range punish tool is the idea for this string. As you can see there. Then we have Overload, which is a kind of launcher that's special cancelable, but you're not going to get every special move off on this thing. Usually a projectile or electric fly, but you're not going to get everything unless it's in the corner, which if we go to the corner, you can definitely get some sweet combos, because this is an 11 frame punish. If your opponent does something fairly unsafe, okay, that won't work exactly, but let's try this. It's not quite good enough, but that's just because I dropped the combo. Then they can catch that, sure, but good times all around. That's what it's really good for. But of course, you can use this to end combos, so. Okay. Yeah, just use it to end combos. Don't throw out a special move or anything unless you want to try and catch them on wake up. But I should probably mention as well, sudden energy is minus 13, and I think the whole string is unsafe. Minus 3 and minus 5, so it becomes less safe as you proceed. Then we have Overload's block data, which is minus 7, but it has a flawless block gap inside. Then we have Immortal Strikes, which features a sneaky low in there. Similar purpose, but this attack strikes mid, so this isn't really a mix. But what you could do, convert to this, hold on. There we go, and get some okay damage that way. Next, but Immortal Strikes is minus 3 on block, so it's actually fairly safe to commit to this string, unlike Overload, which could leave you minus 7 and potentially be punished. Then we have Deadly Storm, which is one of my favorite looking strings. It does decent damage, knocks the opponent back, and on block has a flawless block gap, but is minus 4 on flawless block. Otherwise, it's plus 6 if they mistime it and hold it. Plus 6 is a lot of time, my friends. That's easily enough time to get a buff and be back in neutral. And we'll talk about that buff when we get to Variation 2. Might of Morgulus is Raiden's highest damaging string, I believe. No, it's his second highest damaging string. Knocks the opponent back real far. And if you really want to be risky, fish for a certain crushing blow. But that crushing blow is not worth the effort most of the time going for that. Trust me, at higher levels, you're going to get eaten alive for that. Then we have Massive Destruction, which used to be a double mid, but this is actually an overhead, which helps in a certain variation because of mix. It's minus 6, so only Variation 2 Raiden can punish it. And Might of Morgulus has 2 flawless block gaps in there, but can now be performed on block all the way through. Sure, it's minus 16, but, I mean, certainly better than what you used to have to deal with. Which is, never mind, it's actually minus 6 with decent pushback. And it doesn't come out on flawless block anyway, so not great. Now let's talk about universal special moves, which one of them is actually replaced in this variation, so we'll have to talk about it at a later date. Oh wait, I'll just drop that. This. And then Electric Fly can be done in the air as well. Yeah. So we'll start with Lightning Bolt. A fairly slow projectile that strikes high and but is really fast once it comes out. It does decent damage, and then you can amplify it in order to catch them mid. However, if you wait a little bit, as you can see, you can actually delay the amplify a little bit. In comparison, this allows you to bait opponents that are trying to duck and move and try and get past your zoning with Raiden. Actually gonna quickly throw that in there. Next we have Lightning Strike, which is a mid that gets called down from the sky, so you can jump right into this thing. It's about the same speed as Lightning Bolt, and has a slightly similar startup animation. So if you're not expecting it, you could actually get caught by this thing. And on Amplify, it pulls you slightly closer to the opponent, or pulls the opponent slightly closer to you. Not within throw range, mind you, but still. And if we go to this, it hurts. And there are close and far variants. So here's what those look like. Close, mid, far. And I think there are very specific zones that you can be in to avoid Lightning Strike, but that's where normal lightning comes in. Electric Fly is next, and it is, as you remember it, fly at the opponent, throw them back. You can amplify to slam them down, and you can also charge to delay it and cancel it. It requires defensive meter though, but Electric Fly has a crushing blow, and so does Air Electric Fly. If this hits from maximum range, which that has been given slightly more wider range, just so that it's slightly easier to perform, you get a good crushing blow. And you'd be surprised at how often you can actually catch somebody with this off of Might of Mortulus at lower levels, because they don't expect it, and then they might do that. But remember, minus 27 on block. Also, the Lightning Strike at close range is minus 22. But just like normal lightning throw, treat it as a projectile and you really can't go wrong. And of course, Electrify can be activated in the air with the same crushing blow requirement. Now let's talk about variation attacks. First up, Storm Cell. This is a mid attack that has a high to end it out. Decent damage, catches the opponent, and knocks him back. But what you really want this for is combo extensions. Look at that, fairly easy 23% for 2 bar, but you don't want to get 2 bar for that much. So what you can do is catch them that way. So let's see that again. And unfortunately, I just got a notification, so I can't see what the damage was. But that was a basic combo. Wow, perfect timing, man. Let's try that again just so I can see the actual damage. 333 damage, so 33%. Actually not that bad considering. And it's one of the few combo extending attacks that can be amplified twice. Although, I do believe there is a system in place that prevents it from being meter burned all the time, so I can't do it infinitely. Or is there? Outside of maybe gravity, let's see. Oops. Oh wow, I can actually amplify it infinitely if I had infinite meter. Still hilarious. So that's really good to know. But that's Storm Cell's main gimmick. But Thunderwave has a 2-slot ability that is iconic to the character, Sparkport. It allows Raiden to teleport, and if he amplifies it, he can spend offensive meter to throw opponents off guard. They might try for a punish, they'll be facing in the wrong direction, they get a back throw or something. You can also Sparkport in front of the opponent for 1 defensive bar, spark port in place for the same amount of meter, or do a far spark port for 1 bar. The reason why Raiden gets to do this for 1 bar and not Cetrion is because when Raiden does it, he has 27 frame projectiles to deal with and only 2 of them in this variation. Meaning it's fairly easy to deal with the zoning. With Cetrion, it's a whole other kettle of fish. Time to move on to the next variation, Raiden. Fun fact, Raiden is the actual name of the Japanese thunder god, not Raiden. Raiden, I believe, is a mistranslation. Anyway. I think I forgot to talk about Storm Cell. Oh, I think you saw it midway through when I was doing Storm Cell combos. I messed up, but I'll tell you right now. Storm Cell is -3 on block, but the third hit is a high. So if you neutral duck that, you get a crushing blow punish. Now we have Electric Burst. Oh, there's a flawless block gap in this string? I didn't know that. Leaves him -9. Not bad. So first up, we have Electric Burst. Nothing to write home about. Decent way to end combos, get some range, and can punish teleport attempts. So if Kung Lao, let's say, were to try and teleport, and I read that, I could catch him with that, and he'd be within range of my shenanigans. Problem is that this replaces the standard lightning strike, but we do get his other, usually universal special move, Summon Lightning, which is an anti-air that can actually hit at very close range, and thus is unblockable. Is not an unblockable. And this is his armor break. This is Raiden's armor breaking attack. So if we made it Kung Lao armor break, it's a bit tricky to do off of the hammer fist, so gotta do it off of uppercut. You can get pretty good damage. It's not the best, but it's not the best, especially since most fast breakaways are gonna not result in them coming out, but particularly this one or the hammer fist one. But let me see. I'm trying to think here. But most of the time you should be able to catch somebody with this. Or won't be able to catch them with that, but I think the angle is too low. So it's not great, but not terrible either. It's perfectly serviceable. But what's not perfectly serviceable, and is in fact really good, is Quick Charge. This is a very quick buff that allows Raiden to increase the damage of certain lightning attacks and alter their properties. However, the main thing you need to know about this... Hold on. What is the... What you need to know about this is that I take half the chip damage with Quick Charge active and get access to a 6-frame reversal. Now, the crazy thing about it being 6 frames means that certain attacks, this is -13, so it is punishable by normal means, but you can punish attacks that no other character can because it's 6 frames. Especially if it's a reversal. For pretty decent damage too, especially on Amplify. But if we just fire it out normally, we're at +5 and reset the neutral. So it's actually really good. And I believe... Okay, it doesn't look like it works that way, but I wonder. Yeah, I think it only affects one other attack. I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, so it looks like nothing else gets changed from anything else. So we get to talk about the move that does get changed. Electric Current. It's a low that is nothing too crazy. It's a fairly decent low with nice range. So you can go something like overhead. Oh, that's right. You can't cancel that. I'm trying to think. Oh, I know. So remember how there's a high in the middle here? Well, you can go like this, or like this, or let's say go for a double low, or any sort of thing like that. But amplifying it is just a little extra damage, unless you're quick charged. If you're quick charged, not only do you gain an extra projectile, which is low, allowing extra damage, but if you manage to get this, you actually get a combo extension. It's not the best combo extension, but I mean, it's something. Let's try this. There we go. See? Now you get a low combo extender. That's not legal. But regardless, that's why I really like Raiden. This buff instantly makes Raiden one of the scariest characters in the game, because not only is he taking half the chip damage, not only is he buffing this attack to give himself a second projectile on top of this one for the one that he loses here, not only does he have access to an armor break, not only can he punish teleporters, but he can also have access to the fastest reversal in the game. Nobody beats him at this. And fun fact, this was originally 4 frames, but they cut it back to 6. Still really fast, especially for this game. Now let's talk about the final variation and his Y variation, Truth and Light. Oh, Murgatroyd, where do I start with this ability? Well, first off, you do not get access to Electric Fly, because in order to change this variation to make it work with its other attack, Electric Fly gets replaced with this attack, which is a pseudo projectile that is supposed to be able to combo, but what are you supposed to get off of this? You can't Electric Fly, because this used to replace Lightning, which made sense. It's a little shitty. It's still a crap ability, but at least it was A, one slot, and B, replaced Lightning. It made sense to trade a projectile with a slightly crappy projectile, and at least you get Electric Fly so that you can combo. But this thing only combos in the corner. You want to see what those combos look like? Well, they literally look like that. They literally look like that, maybe with a little extra spice thrown in. They do not work out too well in this variation. But as much as I despise Joe Push, there's actually a really good part of Truth and Light that I actually really like. Lightning Rod. Plant your staff in the ground, either at close, mid, or far ranges, in order to set up traps. What do I mean by that? Well, first, this connects. Then you use Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt becomes a natural mid instead of a natural high. Yes, it has less range, but you can, for instance, do this. You do this, and then hit them twice with this. Hit them thrice on the Amplify. And this also works with Lightning. In order to do this, you just have to hold the button in question in order to summon the projectile. See what I mean? It doesn't last very long, but it's still really good. Now, you also have to consider its Amplify. See this electric field? If the opponent is already inside it, it won't do anything and it'll eventually go away. However, it will automatically hit the opponent if they back up. It'll automatically hit the opponent, if they end up out of the field in any way, shape, or form, or end up entering the field in some way, shape, or form, causing your staff to come back. And as you can see, you can get them set up in situations that can be pretty nasty at certain ranges. But Joe Push becomes unavailable, as well as any other staff-based attack while the staff is out. So Lightning Rod has its caveats, but as a setup tool, would have been really fun if it wasn't paired up with this fucking thing. Now we're gonna switch over to variation 1, just so I can Wait, I didn't talk about block data again. Hold on. Okay, so really quick, what is the block data for Joe Push? Minus 25 on flawless block. And on normal block is minus 25 again. Staff planting is also very negative at minus 21. And yes, you can actually block the shock. Now let's go back to variation 1 for real this time. Because very quickly I just want to demonstrate something. Yeah, it's minus 3. So I just wanted to show you guys that so that I didn't forget. Now, let's finally talk about his fatal blow, which is Thunder Take You. It's a 17 frame mid, sort of. Some characters can actually duck under this for some reason. Has decent range, does nice damage, and it's a great way to end combos. Like this one in Thunder Wave. Don't forget to be awesome, my friends, and I'll see you guys on the other side.